Oh, good evening, John. These are my chickens. I don't know if I showed you my chickens before. Where is Mr. Lucky, the rooster? I think he went to bed already. These are all the hens. And hello. Can you say hello? This is Little Bean. Looks like she's out hunting mice. And this is the path down to my garden. So the chicken coop used to be this big, and I had about 30 birds. And I only have 11 now. 30 was way too many. They're hoping that I'm going to do some weeding and get some greens for the evening. But this needs weeding, but I was waiting for my plants to get a little bit bigger. But I got a tomato plant there, tomato plant there, a tomato plant there. And then this that all looks like grass. That's sweet corn coming. So I want to make sure the corn's big enough before I start pulling the weeds all around it. But this was seed dated for last year, not this year, and it's kind of got 1, 2, 3, 4 on that first row. I don't see any more on that first row than that cluster right there. And then this row here, I'm not sure if that's grass or corn. So I think this is grass. So anyway, this is definitely corn coming here. Got 4 rows here. Corn there. Corn is definitely in with that weed there. And then over here, I've got 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 coming there. So it'll be enough for a couple meals. But it's just, unless you're growing a half acre of sweet corn, I ain't gonna be putting any up for the winter. Anyway, that's this area. And then here, because the deer love to eat these things, I grow some here just for me. And that way, in case the deer get into the flower bed that's over on the other side of this, I still have some pretty flowers. My rhubarb, I need to pick a few more stalks. I don't quite have enough to make a rhubarb pie. My basil really wilted today, but we got it watered, so it should be looking good by tomorrow. This is zucchini. This is garlic. Oh, we have a big weed that popped up here. Pull them out. Anyway, this is garlic, and I'm waiting for the garlic scapes to come. They probably won't be growing. They'll grow up out of here, and they're kind of like corkscrew shaped. You cut them out, and you can use them just like garlic. And I like to pickle them. They're wonderful. This is potato. This is like a Yukon. It's kind of grown on a cluster there, but this one's finally broke through the soil. And I think, yeah, there's another little one coming there. So anyway, they're coming. This is a very sad looking tomato that my neighbor gave me. I'm trying to rescue it. It is a Roma tomato. Anyway, I just got back from vacation, so I haven't had a lot of time to spend on it. But I'll be tying that one up, or staking it and tying it up. The same thing with that Roma over here. This is another Roma tomato. This is a yellow zucchini. This is Good King Henry, and it looks very much like the Swede. Very similar. Look at it. Yeah. See the Swede? This is wild spinach. It's often referred to. And they are definitely in the same family. They look almost like the same plant. Anyway, that's Good King Henry. That is a perennial. And I'm going to let that get good and big and divide it up. And I will be planting it over there in that spot where the new rhubarb is. I just planted that rhubarb this year. I'm going to put it along that fence line when it's mature and see if it comes back next year. This is my broccoli. And this here, I've got to weed. Now that everything's big and mature, I can see what is Brussels sprout and what is weed. And so yeah, I've got a lot of work cut out for me this weekend. But it's doing really well. I see there's some kind of bug on it, so I've got to get the insecticidal soap mixed up and sprayed. That'll be this weekend too. And this is butter crunch lettuce. And you see all the stuff that looks like that good King Henry? It just grows wild around here. So I think it's kind of funny because I think they call this stuff sorrel is nothing other than good King Henry. Now, this here I gotta weed out too because this is another kind of basil. This is Thai basil. I do a lot of Thai cooking and curries. Anyway, so that's Thai basil. And this is supposed to be skirret? Let's see. Let me look out. Yeah, skirret. It's another old-fashioned vegetable. I'm not sure. I don't think these are it. I'm not sure. So I'm kind of waiting to see what comes or what doesn't come. I bought it online, and I don't know. I don't know if the seeds are good, but we'll see what comes there. This is pole beans, and they're gonna grow up this. So this whole area that I got these raised beds in now, in this section, used to be like my bean patch, and I did bush beans. Instead, I'm doing pole beans, and hopefully we'll get about the same yield by growing it up. This here is kale. I think this is the curly leaf. This is the curly leaf. And this is, I think, Russian blue or something like that. Cucumbers coming here. These are like an English cucumber, and they will also grow up and then trellis down. The fruits will get nice and long. Yep, there's the new rhubarb. And then this here is sage I have growing up next to it. This is an elderberry, so I'm gonna keep that alive and dig that out and plant that where this one died out. And the one next to it is kind of dying. And I think the culprit, if you look at that big tree there of my neighbor's, that's a black walnut. And it does chemical warfare. They keep trying to plant trees here. They all die on them. And I said, you know, the reason why all your trees die is because you got that big walnut. And if you want to grow other stuff, you should probably cut down your black walnut. And consequently, I could probably grow more things. I tried to grow an apple tree over there. I tried to grow an apple tree over here. And kept dying. And as you can see, it's really hard to kill elderberries. But it seems to be kind of succeeding. Speaking of which, the elderberries are starting to bloom. So I'm happy to see that. I don't think this one's going to get any on it. But every year, I get a ton of elderberries, and I make elderberry syrup for flu season and all of that. That here is a plum tree, and as you can see, it's very sickly. And these are not going to make it, these plums. Again, I think the black walnut tree has a lot to do with things not making it here. I'll show you something else. So I think when I get a little more time here, there's an area under that pole over there that I can clear out and do another little garden. And I think I'm just going to do all fruit trees. Now, this plum is just full of fruit this year. So this is a native plum. They're not big, but they make a really good jam, and they also dry really well. So anyway, but I had another one right here, and it died next to it. So that tree over there, the big tree, is the culprit. But anyway, these raised beds are calf nutrition buckets. So, and beef cattle raising, they come in these buckets and they throw them out. I'm not even sure if they recycle. Anyway, I've repurposed them. They are food grade. So I've repurposed them and have made a wonderful raised bed. It is a lot easier to weed. And if I want more stuff, I just put buckets around. 5-gallon buckets, it works great. These also look a little sickly. They got in the hot sun in the car today, so anyway, I just watered them. We'll see how they turn out in the morning. And that is my vegetable garden. And yeah, you guys want your crudité? Huh? You want your crudité? Here you go. Yum, 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 yum. Greens. Let them go. They're funny. So then I have my iris garden and flower garden. This. I had good intentions. I did weed it out a little bit, but I really got to get in this after 10 years. This is just overpacked, and I got to trim out a lot of things. Like these flowers here, this is a blackberry. Hello, what you want, little bean? And my peonies are starting to bloom. I got all this grass coming in here, but I got strawberries growing all over in there. But wild ginger, just all kinds of things. This is comfrey. I did not plant this. Some bird must have. But I'm keeping it because it's actually a good nitrogen fixer, fertilizer. With fertilizer shortage and what they want just for garden fertilizer is kind of crazy this year. I can pick this and throw it down. You can make a tea out of it and water stuff, so it's a good thing. But this is my flower garden. 10 years ago when I lived in Rice Lake, my entire backyard was a kind of a Victorian flower garden. This is just remnants of it. But my fancy irises are not blooming this year. This is one of them. And we got some more on the other side. So I think they're just kind of root bound in there. This is going to be phlox, a prairie phlox. Yeah, and this is one of my early daylilies. It's kind of a miniature daylily. I got more blackberries coming up in there. Really love this hosta. I can divide this up. This is actually an edible. That's what they started off as. A lot of people don't eat them anymore, but in the early spring they come up in spears just like asparagus, and you can eat them or the early green shoots. You could probably eat this too, but I think it would be very tough and bitter. Daylilies are also edible. Yeah. So those are my gardens. I got my hanging basket over there. I used to go crazy on all kinds of planters and that sort of thing, but that's pretty much it for me anymore. Okay. That'd be it. I'm not sure how I'm going to send this because it's too many minutes to send via text or Facebook, so I'll figure it out. Or just send you a part of it. This overgrown mess here are my daylilies and raspberries. And the raspberries are just starting to bloom. hopefully I get some good crop of raspberries this year. Alright. Talk to you later, John. Take care. Say hi, Squatch. What do you think, Squatch? Yeah, Squatch. Squatch. Can you say hello? There you go. Good boy. Bye. Little Bean? Little Bean. Little Bean, you want to say hi? You say meow? Yeah. All right, take care.